Mikel Arteta has just provided the latest injury updates on Ben White and Riccardo Calafiori ahead of Arsenal's Champions League clash against PSG. Meanwhile, Arsenal is close to securing a new 5-year contract with a fearless starlet who has shined this season. On the other hand, things have become more complicated for PSG as their best player will not be on the field against Arsenal. Want to know why? Stay with me until the end of the video to check out the latest Arsenal news straight from the Emirates Stadium. But before that, if you're as passionate about Arsenal as we are, don't waste any time and subscribe to our channel right now to stay updated on everything happening with the greatest team in the Premier League. And without further ado, let's dive into today's top news. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta is gearing up for a big Champions League showdown against PSG this Tuesday night. The Gunners will be back at the Emirates, ready to take on the French Giants in what promises to be a tough second group stage match. With the revamped format of the competition, Arsenal are facing top-tier opposition early on, and after a hard-fought draw with Atalanta on matchday 1, they'll be eager to claim all 3 points this time around. Following their dramatic 4-2 victory over Leicester City, Arteta was asked about several key topics during his pre-match press conference, including the latest updates on the squad ahead of the highly anticipated European clash, Ben White and Riccardo Calafiori injury update ahead of PSG clash. One of the main talking points from Saturday's game was the absence of Ben White due to injury. White picked up a groin strain that ruled him out of the match against Leicester, and unfortunately he wasn't the only one facing fitness issues. Riccardo Calafiori also seemed to have picked up a knee injury late in the game, adding to Arteta's concerns. During the pre-match press conference ahead of the PSG clash, Arteta gave an update on their condition, stating that both fullbacks would need to be assessed further before any final decisions are made about their availability. Those are the 2 players we need to assess today, Arteta told the media, staying pretty tight-lipped on the specifics of Arsenal's lineup for the PSG match. As expected, the manager kept things under wraps when it came to team news, with a planned open training session set for Monday afternoon, just ahead of Tuesday's clash. Things should become clearer once the squad hits the training ground at Colney, with everyone eager to see if White and Calafiori are fit enough to join the session and potentially make the lineup. If both White and Calafiori are cleared to play against PSG, it could spark an interesting dilemma for Arteta. White is usually Arteta's go-to right back, but recent performances from Calafiori and Jurrien Timber have certainly given him something to think about. Timber has stepped in at right back, while the summer signing, Calafiori, has been solid on the left. Both players have shown excellent form, especially in matches against Manchester City and Leicester, making them tough to bench. If White is fit, Arteta could face a tough decision on who to start, adding an extra layer of intrigue to the squad selection ahead of Tuesday night's highly anticipated showdown. Arsenal close to agreeing new 5-year deal with fearless Gem, who's been brilliant this season. Arsenal have been proactive with contract renewals in 2024, with Edu securing extensions for key players like Ben White, Takehiro Tomiyasu, and Jorginho. In the past, the Gunners found themselves in tricky spots with players entering the final year of their contracts, something they're keen to avoid going forward. It's a situation Liverpool are currently dealing with as they face uncertainty over the futures of Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Looking ahead to 2025, Arsenal will need to address the contracts of Thomas Partey and Jorginho. While Mikel Arteta has a decision to make regarding both midfielders, there doesn't seem to be much stress around it. The club might even let both players move on should they choose not to renew. That said, according to Football Transfers, Arsenal is zeroing in on securing a new contract for Ethan Nwaneri. The club has been in discussions with the talented 17-year-old about a 5-year extension and appears to be close to finalizing a deal. Talks kicked off last month, aiming to keep Nwaneri in North London until at least 2030. Nwaneri will turn 18 in March, which will allow him to sign the new contract since 17-year-olds can only sign deals that last up to 3 years. This news will definitely be a relief for Arsenal fans who have been eager to see more of Nwaneri on the pitch this season. After his impressive cameo in Arsenal's 4-2 victory over Leicester City, Theo Walcott praised him as fearless. Arteta opted to bring Nwaneri on instead of Gabriel Jesus, and the young star certainly made the most of his opportunity. It's still up in the air whether Arteta will give Nwaneri the nod to start when Arsenal takes on Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League on Tuesday. Trouble at PSG, the club's best player is out. Paris Saint-Germain is coming into N5 riding high, ready to take on Arsenal in the Champions League on Tuesday. The French champs have bounced back well since losing Kylian Mbappe. PSG remains unbeaten this season, racking up 6 wins out of 7 matches across all competitions, including a solid one, 0 victory over Girona in the Champions League, something Arsenal couldn't manage against Atalanta. For Arsenal to secure a spot in the top 8 of the Champions League table, which ensures automatic advancement to the knockout stages, they really need to clinch those wins at the Emirates. While earning a draw against Atalanta away wasn't a terrible result, Mikel Arteta's squad now has to build on that with a crucial victory in North London under the bright lights. Luckily for Arsenal, there's news that Paris Saint-Germain will be heading to the Emirates with a slightly weakened squad, as Ousmane Dembele won't be making the trip. Dembele has been a vital player for PSG this season, stepping up to fill the gap left by Mbappe's move to Real Madrid. He's been in fantastic form, scoring 4 goals and providing 4 assists in Ligue 1, proving just how important he is to the team's success. However, reports from L'Equipe suggest that Dembele had a bit of a blow-up with PSG manager Luis Enrique following their 3-1 win over Stade Rennais last Friday. In response, Enrique has decided to leave the winger out of the squad for the trip to London, which weakens their lineup but sends a clear message about discipline. On a brighter note for PSG, the talented Portuguese midfielder Vitinha is set to make his return from injury and has been included in the squad traveling to face Arsenal. Arsenal have their own injury headaches ahead of PSG. As Arsenal gears up to take on PSG, Arteta has shared an update on injuries, focusing on Riccardo Calafiori and Ben White. Right now, the Gunners are facing a bit of a dilemma at fullback since Jurrien Timber is their only senior player fully fit. Fans were buzzing about Miles Lewis-Skelly's performance against Bolton last week, and he could be a contender for the lineup, but facing PSG will definitely be a whole different ballgame. There's a chance that White might be fit enough to step in at right back, which would allow Timber to slide back over to the left, but that's still up in the air. On top of that, some Arsenal supporters have raised concerns about Thomas Partey's role, and it's something Arteta might need to sort out before going up against a team as formidable as PSG. Arsenal and Manchester United considering move for special £5 million talent who Brighton want to sign. Arsenal are keeping an eye on the future and are reportedly looking into signing a promising young talent who's also caught Brighton's attention. Brighton have built quite the reputation for spotting hidden gems that turn into superstars, later selling them for big money. Think of Alexis McAllister and Moises Caicedo. Their scouting network is top-notch, but it seems they might have some competition from Arsenal for the next big prospect. The player in question is teenage Ivory Coast winger Bouzzoumana Touré, who's already making waves as a potential star on the rise. If Arsenal wants him, they'll have to face off with Brighton in what could be an exciting transfer battle. As per a report from the Mirror, Arsenal have thrown their hat into the ring to sign rising star Bouzzoumana Touré, joining several Premier League clubs in the race. At just 18, Touré is still carving out his career in Sweden, but has already made a mark with Hammarby, where he scored 6 goals in 16 appearances last season. His performances have drawn the attention of top clubs, and it looks like the Swedish side is willing to let him go for around £5 million, an amount that's practically pocket change for Premier League teams. Along with Arsenal, Manchester United and Brighton are also reportedly interested in signing the young Ivory Coast winger. It seems like a battle is brewing for Touré's signature. Well folks, those were the main news for today. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated on everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and until the next video.